Update video time. Yo, what's good? It's another new year. Figured I'd do another update video talking about, what's coming up, what's been going on, how things have been. So firstly, 2021 was the single biggest year for me in my entire life. Finally moving out of my parents' house was huge for me. It was amazing. I've never felt like I've had more freedom in my entire life, and I've also never been more scared. Brand new set, brand new office. Hey, it's all new, all shiny. Really spent a lot of time on this, really wanted to make it look good. I originally had something a lot more ambitious up in my head planned, but the apartment only had so much space, so this is kind of what I had to do. But for what it is, I am really happy with how it all turned out. I think it looks really good. In older videos, I was just standing in my bedroom. All the stuff in the background was just posters of whatever I was kind of into at the time. It was only ever the background because that was the only space in my folks' place that I was able to film at. That was the only reason that was ever what you were looking at behind me. So I wanted to reel it back and make it something that actually is more reflective of what I actually care about. The games I grew up with, my favorite games, the sorts of things I cover on the channel here. Kind of the era of video games that I come from. Big thing about this office is the fixed lights. In my old bedroom, I only had the space to only have one fixed light. The other two, I had to reset up every single time. It was such a tiny bedroom, and I was just doing ballet with cords and light stands, and it was a nightmare, especially for those really tight close-up shots where I'm holding a controller or a game or the manual or a Nintendo Power magazine or something. That was so hard to do because I had no room to do it in. Now I got a much better lighting setup. I can actually just hit this light switch right here and they'll all come on. I actually connected it to that, and then I also have my little remote here to kind of adjust each individual one, the temperature and brightness and stuff. This new setup has made my life so much easier. Having a more efficient workspace was something I really sought to do when I was building this office. I got a lot of equipment there to completely optimize my recording process for both gameplay and audio. When I'm at the desk and I want to change a bunch of lines in the video because I'm terrible for doing that. I do that all the time, and it's a big reason why I just cannot give my videos to editors, because I'm editing 20 minutes into the video and it's just oh wait, that doesn't quite line up. When I was watching video footage over, I realized this plot detail's different. Delete it and re-record it, and I do that so much, and it used to be a pain in the ass to reset up everything. But now that I have just a permanent setup with the foam paneling for the nice audio quality and the mic arm and the pop filter all in place, that has been so much better doing this past year than ever before. I also feel it's kind of increased the quality of my videos this past year. I mean, I'd like to think so. I really feel like I've been putting more hours of work into videos this past year than ever before, but they've also been kind of longer than usual this past year, so that's probably actually why. But let me know if you do think my quality in videos has bumped a little bit since doing the new office. I feel like it has. Maybe it hasn't. Let me know. And that kind of leads into my next thing I really want to talk about, and that is the rate at which I get videos finished and out. I feel like that has been so much slower this past year than before, and that's something I'm kind of upset with myself about. I mean, I know things have changed too. Years ago when I was just some single dude with very few friends, I really had nothing to do, and I just kind of buried my nose in the only thing I thought I was good at. Making YouTube videos, and I just did that with 90% of my time. I did very little else, and it wasn't really very healthy at all. I've since entered a very serious relationship, and when that happens, you kind of realize how little time you give yourself, and I kind of realized how unhappy I really was. And the first fucking year of that relationship was this constant mental battle where I was yes, I'm doing something with this time that's healthier for me, but at the same time, I'm just fighting these feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness because I'm not using that time to get videos out as often. Doing a lot of mental wars in my brain this year. Oh my god. Or it was actually the previous year, but yeah. I have gotten quite a bit better though. Spending every day being out on your own with somebody you love and get along with instead of being at war with your family all the time. It's been incredible for my mental health. So while a weird small part of me has never been unhappier with my output, I've also just never been happier overall. So tough shit loser kid who keeps commenting, I miss when Nitro Rad uploaded more often. Now I'm joking. I don't actually want to have that kind of attitude towards it. I do want to keep doing my best, and I do want to keep expanding what my best is, and a big part of that is going to be overcoming a lot of personal hurdles that have been introduced into my life after I moved out. And the biggest one of those is still like just figuring out how the fuck do I be an adult. The moment you move out, you like realize you have a million new responsibilities that are confusing and make no sense, and it's like, how do I do all of this shit? And it has been another big hurdle, another factor in, you know, making it harder to get videos out as frequently as I used to. Thank fuck I have an incredibly supportive and wonderful girlfriend who's been helping me through all of this, as I have with her too. She's even helped me make some of these videos. Like that brain for the Psychonauts video that's in the background now, she made that by hand out of terracotta. It blows my mind that she was able to do that. Like, she is just incredibly talented. She also has done some illustrations for a couple of videos too. My favorite one is the Attack of the Twonkies bit. Like, I thought that was so freaking funny. We also adopted 3 kittens, not all at once. I mean, like months after we moved out. Like, gradually we got 3 of them overall. And this is another thing I've learned about myself after moving out. Like, I've never really interacted with cats much. I've just never really been around them all that much my whole life. But apparently I really love cats, hence why we got 2 more eventually. I think we've done a fantastic job of raising them all. They're all incredibly friendly and kind. They all get along really well. They are hilarious and adorable, and I cannot imagine life now without just like funny little dudes walking around. I can't picture that now. This little dude right here is Mr. Pickles. This is the first one we got. I've never had an animal trust me like this. Like, I can just pick him up whichever way. Anyway, he'll let me hold him anyway, and I guess like I always was really gentle, very careful and kind with him as a kitten, so I think there's just like a great degree of trust here. It's really cool. Raising cats is really cool. It's really different than raising dogs. You know, with dogs, you're kind of like telling them what to do and training them, and a lot of interaction. With cats, it's a lot more like you're creating an environment for them where they can like get out their natural behaviors in a way that like doesn't destroy your house. This little guy here is Blinks. He looks just like Blinks. We had to name him Blinks. Still one of my favorite video game characters. I love him very much, but not as much as I love this little guy here. He is ridiculous. He is so goofy. When we saw the picture of him on the SPCA's website, I was instantly in love. Like, he just looked ridiculous. He looked nuts. And his personality has really lived up to that. Like, the moment he came in, like, Pickles was terrified of the stairs as a kitten. The first thing he does is he runs at the stairs and falls down them. And he climbed back up and did it 5 more times because he thought it was fun. And this one here is Hornet. We named her Hornet after Hornet from Hollow Knight because she's very quick, very sharp. If Pickles is the lazy, affectionate one and Blinks is like the goofy, funny one, then she's definitely like the smart, athletic one. She's always very aware of her surroundings. Her ears are always going nuts. She's always listening in onto everything. Not right now, though. She's just kind of sleepy. Let me hold her right now. But, yeah, if she ever plays with the other 2, she wins. She is so much faster, so much better reflexes. Like, if they're chasing, like, a little toy or something or playing with them, like, she'll just get it. And the other 2, like, we have to separate the other 2 to play with them because she's just too good. She just gets it every time. But yeah, it's been challenging adjusting to all of this, you know, the new responsibilities, but it's been awesome. Like, I feel like we're in it now, you know, we're in it, we're doing it, we're making ends meet, we're doing just fine, you know, mostly so far. There was one thing I had to do recently. I had to make a financial decision that directly affected the channel. It's not a big deal. It's like not a deal at all, but it's like, it's a weird thing that money unfortunately made me have to do, and I do want to talk about it. You might have noticed that I uploaded a horror game video in December. I did not originally plan on doing that. I was actually editing the top 10 games of that year that I do annually, and I was just talking about Tormented Souls in that. But then I began to realize, oh no, January is going to be terrible for revenue, and I have rent to pay. But December's very good for revenue. They do a lot of advertising leading up to Christmas, and then they just like, no one's advertising right after the Christmas rush, right? So I had this terrifying thought, oh no, I might not be able to pay rent next month if I make what I normally make in January's. So I thought, okay, I really have to take advantage of the December revenue while I'm able to make up for January, or I might be in trouble. And to make matters worse, the top 10 video I do every year is always my worst performing video all year. Every single year, it's always the same thing. It gets way less views than normal and earns barely anything. So like, because of that, I was like, okay, well, I have to just stop making this video right now and put something else out. And now I'm gonna have to put out this top 10 video on like January 25th. A lot later. I mean, I know it's not a big deal at all. In fact, like, a lot of people were actually really thrilled that I was uploading a horror game video in December. You know, a lot of people usually appreciate going against the seasonal grain. You know, I've never done Christmas videos. I don't ever plan on doing Christmas videos. I like doing Halloween videos. I like horror, so I thought, hey, it's funny, it works, it's fine. But this is going to be something that I have to think about actively in the future. So I thought, okay, well, maybe there's two different solutions to this that I could do. And the first one is I do what I just did. I take advantage of the December revenue by focusing on a different video then, and then get the annual top 10 out a lot later into January. That's what I'm doing this year. It's still coming, but it's going to be coming out like probably between the 20th or the 30th, because it had to get pushed back by after doing that Tormented Souls video. It feels kind of lame doing that though, because like, it's New Year's, you know, everyone wants to see the top 10s and what people thought of the last year, you know, right when you come out of the new year, but I feel kind of late to the party now doing that. So the other option, and this does have some other benefits, but it is a more drastic change, I just stopped doing them. That's option B. I just stopped doing the top 10s because it's like, again, they perform considerably less than anything else I put out each year. They barely earn anything. It's not really viable to rely on that as a source of income now. So I was thinking, like, what if instead I just didn't do those? Like, how much do you, and I want to hear a lot of your opinions. Please tell me, how much do you actually care about those videos? I do love making them. It's my way of talking about stuff I don't normally get to at the end of the year, what I played that year and everything. I love making them. I love doing those unique transitions. But if I don't, then that is a whole nother actual full Nitro Rad episode I can spend January working on instead, and then I can put that out in February. So it would be better for me for revenue, and you would get one more actual video a year instead of that. So I don't know, that's something I'm leaning towards. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a whole year to make this decision, but I would like you to help me make the decision. Like, I really want to hear your feedback and input. Let me know, how much do you care about them? How bummed would you be if they went away? Would you prefer just another thing instead? Let's have a conversation. Let me know. Let's figure this out. I think option B would be the better option for me financially, but it just feels so stupid to have to make decisions like this because of money. I hate that, but like, I gotta pay rent. I gotta eat. But hey, with that said, we do have a way you can support the channel if you want to help make my life a little bit less stressful when it comes to finances. We do a $1 podcast through Patreon. You kind of do get what you pay for. It's a $1 podcast. It's not very well produced. It's just me and Brady sitting on the futon in my office just talking about games and, you know, maybe going a little bit further into that episode of Nitro Rad I did that month, you know, like editing it, something funny that happened during the production, or maybe just a little bit more about the game in general. Brady tells some funny stories on it though, so I don't know, maybe it is worth $1. Yeah, that's the best way you can directly support the channel if you would like to. Patreon also wanted me to make goals, so I thought, hey, it's just a $1 podcast. What if we get to 1,000 patrons? I figured that's probably realistic at just $1. So if I get to 1,000 patrons, I'm like at 700 now, I'm pretty close to there, but if I get to 1,000, I'm gonna do a full tour of the whole office, all my equipment, my library of games. I get a lot of people asking me like what my process looks like and if I'll do like a tour of my I don't know, my living space. So I figured that would be a cool thing for the Patreon. If I get to 1,000 patrons, I'll take like a week aside and I'll just spend it making this like really tight, well put together, nice and long, chunky, just full on tour from start, middle, and end of making a video, all the equipment I use and all that. I thought that would be really cool. So jump on a Patreon if you wanna see something like that. But either way, I'm gonna try my best to keep making videos as best I can. I always say I don't want to rush things, but I did one time this past year, and I hate myself for it. In 2021, it was the Kuon video. I rushed the Kuon video. teensy bit. So I was thinking like, oh man, I didn't get the videos out on Halloween last year. I gotta make Halloween this year. Let's do it. Let's get it on Halloween. So I just stay up all night to do that. I stayed up until 8 in the morning is when I went to bed, and I got it done. I got it all out, all put together. I finished it up and got it out for Halloween. But now that it's been a few months and that video is the way it is now and it's going to be forever, I just listened to it again and I think I should have delayed it one day to master the audio, because the audio in that video is just not up to par with how I usually do it. I'm really meticulous with audio. When I'm done editing audio levels in a video, it looks like this. I do so much work to that. In Kuon, I kind of skimped out. I usually do, the last thing I do is I do one more big pass looking at just the audio, making it all even more tweaked until everything's a nice, good, comfortable volume for the whole way through. Didn't do that with Kuon, so I could get it out on Halloween. And it's not like, I'm not gonna pretend it's like the worst audio master ever, but it is noticeable if you look for it. And I feel like it's just, I want to do better than that. So yeah. Oops, lesson learned. If I had to look back on this year, like content-wise though, I guess I'd say I'm like okay with my output. Like again, I wish I could have done more. There's a bunch of videos I wanted to do, but didn't get around to, like LSD Dream Emulator and Blue Fire. I really wanted to do a video about Blue Fire, but a lot of stuff just kind of came up, like the Tai 2 video. That's a very important franchise to this channel, so I had to do Tai 2 when the HD version came out, and Psychonauts. I've been saying for years, I've been promising for years, the moment Psychonauts 2 comes out, I'm going to cover the first one, and it just got a surprise release date this year, and I just had to tackle that, and I kind of pushed things around. Like, what I wanted to do, my only goal for last year was just to finish all the Jimmy Neutron videos by August. And I didn't do that. There's still one more. I still have one more I have to do. I did manage to get one video out per month though, so I guess I'm okay with that just by proxy of the fact that they were like meatier than usual videos. I feel like my videos have gotten a little longer this year, which is good. I like making longer videos because I can talk more about the game. I never want to just play something briefly and make some jokes about it and call it a day. You know, I always want to beat the game to completion, really bring you through a lot of it, if not like the whole thing. You know, find some interesting things, some funny things, really boil it down and put it into like a nicely packed 20 to 40 minute video. Like that's what I always want to do. It's what I wanted to do when I started the channel, and it's what I still want to do. So that's what I'm gonna keep aiming for. It's what I always feel like the goal of these videos always was. I'm not a comedian, never really consider myself like all that funny a person. I mean, like I make the occasional joke, but I've always been a big fan of information driven content. I always want you to like watch a video and instead of just kind of seeing a surface level, I want you to come out of the video feeling like you could actually tell somebody a couple of things about this thing instead of just like what it looks like and what it is. You know what I mean? I'm kind of proud of my library of videos at this point. I feel like it's very clean, easy just to scroll through. It's just a bunch of isolated games. You just click on one game and you watch a video and you learn about it. You know, that's just what I wanted to do, and I feel like I got that now. It's kind of cool. I have been privating some old videos lately just to try and like clean up the channel clutter, just to have it just be what I want you to be looking at. You know, I just privated some old update videos, some old live streams. I don't live stream anymore. I stopped live streaming a couple of years ago. I never really liked live streaming that much. I was never really good at just like interacting with the chat. I'm just terrible at it. I hate it. And I just wanted to focus on doing like reviews, right? But if there is an old video, like an old live stream you used to like putting on or something, and you don't have access to it anymore and you want to watch it again, just email me. I'll give you the link in like some shape or form. And if I get enough emails, I'll probably take all of those and put them in like some spot where you can have access to all of them at some point. But for now, all that stuff's not really relevant to what I want the channel to be. So I figured I'd just kind of, you know, like private them and just clean it up. Another thing that's going to be changing that I do want to talk about and I do need to address is the yearly April Fool's videos. Those are always a big fan favorite. The reaction to them every year is always incredible. I was really proud of the iCarly one, exploring some like kind of like goofy horror with me and Brady, and the reaction was incredible. Like it was one of the few videos I hit a lot of things in. I put a lot of pieces along the way, and when it premiered on April 1st and I was watching a live chat go, and I saw people noticing and putting it together before it like got to the conclusion, and people are like, why is this way? And then they see that and they're like, because that was, and it was like, yeah, I really thought a lot about that. so seeing the reaction was like, it was my favorite premiere of anything I've ever done. Thank you so much for the reaction to that thing. Like, holy shit, guys. They have always been a significant source of stress to me, however. They're really big videos, and you know, there's a deadline. You have to get it out on April 1st. I always premiere it live for the reaction, and if you don't get it out on April 1st, well, you missed April Fools. There's no fooling anymore. The fool's gone, you know, you missed it. So, I'm also out of ideas. The time loop thing was the last thing I had cooking up in my brain with like an identifiable way to execute it in a really fun, goofy way. And I don't want to just make some random bullshit up just for the sake of doing the thing I always do, if I don't actually have an idea for it. So I'm not going to be doing an April Fool's video this year, and I know I'm gonna get the obvious responses like, oh, that's the joke. It's a prank, there is going to be one. Please don't set yourself up for disappointment, and please don't put that pressure on me either. Like, you make me feel awful when you say that shit. I feel like fucking shit. I feel like a fucking failure. But no, again, I don't have any ideas. I'm not gonna force myself just to make some bullshit just for the sake of it, especially when I could be using that time to be working on actual videos too, and that will also help me have more time to do more things. That said though, I'm not done doing April Fool's videos. I think now we're at a point where it's like, okay, well, what if just 1 year, I won't announce it, I won't hype it up, nothing, just 1 year, I'll just put out another one, and it'll be the biggest and craziest and most ridiculous thing I've ever done. And I think just like having no specific year for when this mystery thing is just gonna appear, you know, like Lasagna Cat style, just one day they just appear, just like that. But since I don't have to dedicate to a deadline, I could be working on this big thing and think, it's not big enough, and then do the next year. Maybe not big enough, then do the next year, then 1 year it'll be big enough and I'll just stick it out and it'll be nuts. I think that's what I want to do with April Fools going forward. Just randomly 1 year stealth drop it. So yeah, that's a lot of news. Sorry if all that's really disappointing. I'm sure it is, but you know, I've been doing this for a while and it's like, I want to keep doing it and I got to do it in the way that I'm able to, unfortunately. But hey, with that said, why don't we get into something a little bit more fun? Let's talk about what I plan on doing this next year. Let's talk about what is coming. So first video I'm putting out this year, like I said, is going to be the annual top 10. It's just going to come a lot later in the month than usual. And after that, I'm finishing Jimmy Neutron. I'm getting that out of the way. I'm going to brain blast right through those Game Boy Advance games and get a video out about that. That's going to be the first thing I do in February. It'll actually be the second Game Boy Advance games video I've done. I did one for Frogger too, and I always bring up these Game Boy Advance ports, yet I never get a chance to really like go more into it. Yet I feel like most Game Boy Advance games aren't big enough to really do a full episode on, so I think this is a really good way of doing it. And after that, we're getting into 3D indie platformers. Every year I like to, maybe not every year, but a lot of years I like to kind of have one thing I just stick to and tackle. You know, 1 year was a lot of Frogger games, this past year's Jimmy Neutron games, but I've also done like looser stuff. Like 1 year I did a lot of N64 platformers, I did PS1 platformers, so I thought let's go back to that sort of thing, but we'll do 3D indie platformers. That's what I'm going to be doing all about this year. I got 4 in mind that I want to do, that I know I will be doing, but there might be more that I might add depending on how much time I have and what suggestions I get from the comments too. That'll probably be the first half of the year. I also know a lot of people really miss when I would do those like darker, weirder, indie, like freakier kind of stuff, you know, like the RPG Maker horror games, stuff like Omori and Yume Nikki and all that. I really miss doing that stuff. I feel like the direction this channel's been taking has been leaning more in favor of just platformer games, because that is what I wanted the main focus to be the whole time. But I do miss that a lot, and I do feel like I should be getting something out. So I want to try from now on get at least one of those out a year. So last year I got that Omori video out. This year I'll find something, even if it's an old thing like Sluggish Moors. Pattern Circus came out. Maybe I could do Everhood? I've had people practically begging me to do that thing since it came out. I don't know anything about it though. I don't really know what it is. I don't know. I don't want to just do the thing I know will get a lot of views, though. I'd rather do something that like I can connect to better. But again, I don't even know what it is, so maybe I'll look into that. I don't know. I said I'd do LSD Dream Emulator last year. That didn't happen either. I don't know. It's gonna be a hard video to make. Like, that is a remarkably interesting thing that I know a lot about. I used to play that thing nonstop in high school. I was on the wiki for it. I was reading about like the original Dream Journal, and like there's even like a manga based off of it. It's a really, really cool thing. Maybe that'll be my big December game, just because I think that would do really, really well. I feel like an LSD Dream Emulator video from this channel, I feel like that'd do great. I want it to be like a huge, amazing video, because it's something I've wanted to tackle since the day I started the channel. It's hard to make myself do it. It's also hard to make myself do it because, like, again, it's a big, important thing to me, and I said to myself, like, when I first started the channel, I wanted to talk about Tai, Yume Nikki, Star Tropics, and Rayman, and LSD Dream Emulator. That was the 5th game slash series I wanted to talk about, but I told myself, no, I'm not doing this one yet because I want to wait until I'm really, really good at making videos before I make that one. And like, it's hard to tell when you're there, when you are your own biggest critic, you know what I mean? Like, I know I probably do fairly solid videos, but I never know if it's like, am I at the point, am I ready for Dream Emulator? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, I don't know. Another mental battle going on for that one, but maybe that'll be the big December game. There's stuff in that game that's based off of real world dream psychology that I've experienced. I have hallucinated the gray man, experiencing sleep paralysis 3 times, and I want to like film that and recreate it and light it really well and be like, this is what's going on here. This is what it'd be awesome. It'd be so cool. September and October, we've got horror seasons. I'm gonna be doing either 1 or 2 videos. It depends on what games I decide to tackle. I'm going to be doing either Illbleed, this ridiculous and hilarious Dreamcast weird horror game. It's a really strange game. The gameplay is really weird and hard to wrap your head around, and I really want to, like, I remember trying to play it in high school and it made no sense to me. I really want to go back at it and figure it out and like talk about it. I know people who love Illbleed really love Illbleed, so I'm really curious about it. I'm gonna do either that or Ecstatica, which is 2 old PC games. They kind of like Alone in the Dark, you know, like those old PC style like fixed angle survival horror games, like the really bad animation and models. That game's hilarious and weird, but also like kind of cutting edge in like weird ways for this time. I don't know. They're all really interesting games that I think would all make really great episodes. So let me know if you'd rather Illbleed or Ecstatica. I'll do one or the other this year. There's a lot of horror games I want to do eventually. I finally got through all those PS2 ones that I found in high school, so now there's like a lot of other ones I want to do as well. Like Galarians, the D games, what was that one? The obscure games. I only have one of them. I gotta get all the other ones. Like, these games are hard to find and they're expensive too, so like a big part of it is like getting them all, but eventually I want to do all those games. I want to do all the Alone in the Dark games too. All the old ones, not like the new ones, but like a lot of people don't realize this, but like a lot of people, you know, a lot of people talk about that first Alone in the Dark on like DOS or whatever it was on. But no one ever talks about the fact that that game got 3 weird sequels. One of them's like pirate themed. You're like the same mustached, low poly guy fighting skeleton pirates. It's fucking awesome. And with how I kind of pick a loose theme or whatever, you know, each year. One year, I really miss doing just old platformers, just finding some PS2 game and being like, what the fuck is this? I really miss doing that. And I feel like the last time I really went through a bunch of them in a row, that was just like completely different, you know, not the same series, just different games, all in the same thing. I feel like it was like when I went through like all the N64 platformers, Space Station Silicon Valley and Starshot and Rocket Robot on Wheels, Chameleon Twist, all that I feel like was the last time I really did that. I want to do that again, and I felt like instead of picking one console, why don't I do one per console? Because I still have so many weird platformers from all time, and I want to bounce off of a lot of them. So I thought, okay, well, I can do a PS1 game, a PS2 game, then a PS3 game, and I can do an N64 game, one GameCube game, a Wii game. I could do like then one Dreamcast game. I could cover like Floygen Bros, then I could cover like Metal Arms glitching the system on Xbox, then I could cover like the Core Gang on Wii. I feel like that would be a really good way of just tackling a lot of different weird stuff that's all platformer stuff. That would be, let me know what you think of that. That might be what I do next year. if next year is not the year of Bionicle, I might do the year of Bionicle that year. I don't know. One year I'm also going to do a year of Bionicle where I just cover every single Bionicle game. I have all of them. I have all of the Bionicle games. I have every Bionicle game. That would be another one I could do Game Boy Advance videos for, a video for, because there's a bunch of Bionicle Game Boy Advance games, a bunch of which I grew up playing. And I have every other Bionicle game too. I mean, don't worry. I'm talking about those Flash games. Mata Nui Online, Voya Nui Online, I'm talking about all that. I've got a million video ideas. I've got years of content to go through, so I hope you guys will look forward to that. I hope you guys will stick around and keep watching even after I talk about nothing but Bionicle for a year, but I'm sorry, it's gotta be done. It's got to be done. But yeah, thanks for sitting through this. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for listening to me whine about all my stupid personal problems that are fucking my business and I should just take care of it. But, you know, I really do appreciate everyone's support. Like, one thing that has been remarkably uplifting this past year is, despite how hard I've been on myself with not getting videos out as frequently, they've been getting more views than ever before. The channel's performed better than any previous year this year, and that has been really encouraging. So thank you guys so fucking much for the support. I'm going to keep doing my best, and I'm going to keep improving what my best is. Thank you all for keep watching the videos year after year, and even bigger thank you for the people that support me directly on Patreon. You keep a roof over my head, and you keep me and my kitty cats fed. So yeah, thank you so very much, and yeah, take care of yourself. Happy New Year. Hope things are good. And keep a roof over your head. Keep your kitty cats fed.